Welcome back, everybody. So far it has been a bit of a slower June for Brick System Brothers. That's alright. I have a video today, Bricklink haul number 6 in our playlist. Definitely more than 6 orders that I have placed from Bricklink over the years, but I have not covered all of them on the channel. Just kind of picked a few here and there that were noteworthy to showcase. So that's what I have here today. This one particularly noteworthy as it is an international order. It is not the first time I have bought from a different country off of Bricklink, but I do not do it very often. Sometimes the shipping gets a little pricey. Thankfully this one was pretty reasonable, about $13 in total for the shipping, and the bricks themselves under 50. So let's see what's in here. This is from Saviory bricks, hopefully I'm saying that right, and they had a very interesting price structure for larger lot sizes. So if you got a certain number, over a certain number of parts, the prices actually went down. So it's nice to see that, especially when they actually have high amounts of parts in stock there. So even a small builder can do big things. Thank you from Saviory bricks. Yeah, thank you Saviory bricks for having these parts in stock. A lot of this was stuff on the wanted list, just getting that checked off as I went through, and keeping an eye out for other parts that aren't necessarily, on the wanted list that I've come across and decided I'd like to pick up, but just in terms of what is an interesting Lego piece that I would like to collect and experiment with at some point that I'm not necessarily going to find in a bulk lot, and I'd rather have it on hand than not, especially if I can get it for a decent price. So that's the kind of stuff I was looking for in here. Yeah, just to breeze through, I've got a train nose section in yellow. It's from the older Metroliner era, late 90s, early 2000s. There's actually an insert that goes with these for the headlights, and I do have that from the old cargo train. I did get one minifigure here. I forget her name or theme, but I think that was priced around $2. What actually ended me up on the store here this time were the old Freestyle train wheels. So kind of a different wheel style. It's got a pin assembly, one of the old 2x4 bricks with the hole, but it's not the regular tire for the metal axle hole. I think it is actually a different type of 2x4. And then the wheel itself is kind of an in-between size of the smaller one that goes on a pin axle and the larger one that uses the metal axle, or it used to. I don't think it does anymore. Let me go grab a couple of those and we'll get a little size comparison for this guy. So I've got these all aligned on this line of the grid paper to get an absolute comparison of the diameter. So our Freestyle wheel right here is the one that I picked up. I think I got 4 copies. And then this is the smaller one that I was talking about for the pin axle. And then this is the same size as the metal axle one, but it's got the cross axle hole for motorized, to be motor driven. So it's actually not that much smaller than the standard wheel size, but it does have a different connection, which uses that pin into the 2x4 brick. And what I think that will allow me to do is get that in lower, as more of a compact wheel case or bogie or whatever. And maybe have a lower car that's closer to the tracks, and the sub-assembly model that the other this size wheel works with the metal axle, that can actually push that train car up off the rails a couple bricks high. So I'd like to experiment with this guy and see what it can do for me in terms of having a lower profile car, a lower profile train, either as a locomotive or a passenger coach, or even looking at doing like one of the service cars that drives on the tracks and has road tires and the flanged wheel. So it is an interesting part. I've been looking to get it for a while, and this was the time to pick it up. Continuing in the train theme, the 4x6 bogey plate. These are definitely slightly worse for wear, used condition, but I'll take them. These are getting kind of pricey anywhere you look, really. eBay, I've seen them up to $4 a piece now, and I think that's close to their average on Bricklink. Saviory had them for $2 a piece, I believe. I'd have to go back and check, but I think that's what these were. So I got 4 of those. And yeah, the Freestyle wheels and those bogies was kind of the train parts. Then I found these 2 printed Viking shields. I think there's 4 in the set from one of the old Viking sets. So keeping an eye out for those other 2. These are both about $1. Here's an interesting older piece with the finger tabs. 2 to a 3, but instead of being on the ends of the plate, it's on the middle section. So 1x6 with those tabs on there. Don't see that very often. And then this is a piece I came across a couple months ago and put on the wanted list. Not really sure. I believe it's an Ninjago part or a Chima part. Yeah, Chima. And it's got a couple of pin connections and axle connection. Looks like it could be an interesting part. So I got 2 of these to mess around with and see what happens there. Don't see that part too often. I believe it has only been released as a Chima part and hasn't been seen since then. Dark green, 1x2 with the fingers. I think I got these to have some curtains for one of my modular houses. And this piece is specifically for the blue and tan modular house I was working on earlier this year. Up near the top on the tower, 3rd floor tower, I need 1 more of these in tan. Kind of a pricey part. Bulk, about 175, 1x2 Palisade in white. I was working on a table scrap window design and realized I was going to need a lot of these if I wanted to do that. So I set that to the side for now, but I did want to keep an eye out for these, and I believe they had a good price on these in bulk. Similar bulk price was the 1x1 quarter round tile, dark blue. Remember back to the townhouse modular, the teal townhouse. I expanded that roof, and I think I needed 13 more of these dark blue tiles. So of course I buy, what, 100 of them in here? So I can build another townhouse with a dark blue roof. Maybe even 2. Probably won't be teal though. What will be teal is the station wagon from Rebrickable. I think I have a video about that out. I was still needing one of these 2x2 jumpers to get that all the way done. So that was on the wanted list. Some dark orange roof peaks, only released in 1 or 2 sets, I believe. It's what's known as a floor sweeping, I believe is what it's called on the forums where I've read about the set. But it was kind of a random box of bricks, and they were clearing out stock in the mid-2000s, I think is what these pieces come from. Of course, dark orange would be a good color for a roof. The problem is getting enough slope bricks to do pretty much a roof in any size, because they're not very common. So grabbed a few here. And then the last part in the haul is the 3x3 with that curve section on there. Think back to the Prince James passenger cars. I was going to do an observation car, kind of the trailing end of the train. In that back railing, I needed some of these black quarter round. It's kind of a newer plate design, so I didn't have any. That car design might actually not be going forward. I do want to rework those a little bit, but they were on the wanted list, and I figured it wouldn't hurt to have some in case I go that route for a different project down the road in the future. So yeah, about $54 worth of parts here. The train wheels I'm excited about just to see where those go. Kind of that in-between size will be interesting. Just being able to work with something else. And if it turns out to be a good size to work with in terms of like the passenger car or something else. I might try to get some more of those, but it doesn't seem like any one seller on Bricklink has a lot. It's definitely an older retired part, so it's going to be hard to find a large quantity at one store. I think I'll just have to work on getting them a couple pieces here, a couple pieces there, like I do with some other parts. So that is the Bricklink haul update. Saviory bricks coming from the other side, across the pond, and safely here now in Illinois. Thanks for watching, guys. We will see you next time on Brick System Brothers.